Thank you. I don't have the sign-up sheets, I guess. Nobody signed up for a public forum, okay. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for our regular scheduled council meeting. It's Tuesday, April 14th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Ms. Clerk, if you'll call the roll, please.
Charlie Davidson,
Here.
John Wells,
Here.
Linda Westhafer,
Here.
Charles Schwenke,
Here.
Terry Osborne,
Here.
Troy Hill,
Here.
Brandy Bailey,
Here.
Jim Schrader.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Very good. Thank you. We'll call the meeting to order. If you'll please stand, we have Pastor Tom Penning will be here for our invocation, and Councilman Terry Osborne will lead our pledge tonight. Good evening, Pastor. Thank you for being here.
Council and Mayor, thank you for the practice you have of beginning these meetings with prayer, and I thank you today for letting me do it. Please join me with prayer if you are willing and able. Almighty and triune God, we give you thanks and praise for your mighty works. Thank you for our city, our officials, and the citizens who make this community what it is. Lord, in your word, you make it clear your expectations for those who sit in places of authority. And so we ask that you grant this council, our mayor and staff, wisdom to govern amidst the complex issues of our times, a keen thirst for justice, and the ability to work together in harmony even when they disagree. May every discussion and vote be guided by truth, fairness, and a desire to build a stronger, safer city for all residents. Strengthen them in their work to serve and protect the welfare of our people. We trust in your guidance and pray for your blessing upon this meeting. We pray this in your holy name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, council, first we have approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion? Charlie?
I move we approve the agenda.
And Terry?
Second.
Okay, seeing no further discussion. Motion by Charlie, seconded by Terry to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 8-0. Thank you. Next we have awards presentations, which we have proclamations tonight. Dana?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The first proclamation is Child Abuse Prevention Month proclamation. Whereas every family and child is filled with tremendous promise and possibility, and we all have a collective responsibility to prevent adverse childhood experiences, foster the potential of every child, and promote positive childhood experiences. And whereas families who receive the support they need before a crisis occurs are better equipped to provide safe, healthy, and nurturing environments, leading to children who are safer, healthier, and more hopeful about their futures. And whereas primary prevention of child abuse and neglect can reduce the lifetime economic burden associated with child maltreatment, and whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the partnerships created between child welfare professionals, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations, businesses, law enforcement agencies, and families, and whereas investments in prevention initiatives such as home visiting programs, family strengthening policies, economic supports, and community-based child abuse prevention efforts are essential to building safer, healthier communities for children and families. Now, therefore, the mayor and council do hereby proclaim April 2026 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the city of Park City, and urge all citizens to recognize this month by dedicating ourselves to the task of improving the quality of life for all children and families. Together, we can create a state where families are at the center, strengthened by programs, systems, and policies that help families to thrive.
Thank you.
Okay. The next one is our Arbor Day proclamation. Whereas in 1872, the Nebraska Board of Agriculture established a special day to be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can be a solution to combating climate change by reducing the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling costs, moderating the temperature, cleaning the air, producing life-giving oxygen, and providing habitat for wildlife, and whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products, and whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community, and whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, I, John Lenhair, Mayor of the City of Park City, Kansas, do hereby proclaim Friday, April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day in the City of Park City. And I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlawns. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations.
Thank you so much. Okay, next is public forum, and nobody was signed up for public forum tonight. Next is staff report. Sean?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a couple updates for tonight. First is about the new aquatics facility. Later on tonight's agenda, we'll be discussing the hours of operation and the associated fees, but progress is steady and continuing in anticipation of opening in just under 6 weeks during Memorial Day weekend. Second, we're pleased to announce the 85th Street Roundabout project that was previously approved for fiscal year 2027 has been brought forth into this fiscal year 2026. An additional federal and state funding was approved to where the city will now be only required to contribute 20% of the project, and the Kansas Department of Transportation will fund the other 80%. Of special note, we'd like to thank Sedgwick County, who has agreed to partner with the city by providing $50,000 towards the city's 20% portion. So it's good that both the communities are working together. Third is our Phase 1 stormwater drainage projects. This project has many elements. The first one is lowering and expansion of water lines at 4 separate locations, of which one has been completed to date, and they're moving to the second. The second thing is the improvement in box culverts at 5 different street crossings, 2 of which have been completed. It may seem as though they're jumping around from place to place. They're going from Randall to East Parkview, then to West Parkview and Hydraulic, but it is all being done in a fashion to ensure that there's at least 2 ways in and out of the horseshoe at any given time. Next is the 85th Street Water Tower. They are expected to start the scheduled maintenance and repainting of the 85th Street Water Tower around the first part of May. Staff recently conducted a test shutdown and had no problems with that, so they're ready to go when they're ready. Next is the annual street repair programs. The 2 remaining projects from the 2025 program include full-depth reclamation at Kerman and Frontenac, which is scheduled to start at the beginning of May, and that will be followed by Independence and Cloverdale, which is a good deal because that will align with the ending of the school year so that the work will be done throughout the summer rather than interfering with the school. For the 2026 projects, they will be bid in 3 different separate bid packages, and the first one is going to be advertised by month's end. And then finally, there is the fitness court that's here in Park Center. The installation crew should have arrived earlier this afternoon, and they're scheduled to start installing tomorrow. They only anticipate it taking 3 days to complete, so barring any cure time that they may have on the rubberized coating floor, it should be ready by this weekend. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Very exciting. And
Yes.
is there any kind of update at all on the water facility, the pool facility? No, not really?
On the pool
We're
facility,
still-
that's what I started off with.
I'm sorry.
It's going.
I'm
It's-
sorry. I was meaning we talked about maybe doing a workshop session at that. We can discuss
We're
later.
looking at May 12th, at the beginning of that council meeting, a 6 o'clock special meeting to where we'd actually meet at the swimming pool for council to get a tour of the facility at that time.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The other thing I just wanted to point out, this was, we just approved this in the consent agenda, but let's see here, the 4th item is the approval of loan documents for Lancaster Square, which is kind of exciting. They will be closing on that property on April 22nd, and we're executing the loan documents. So it's a 29 two-bedroom apartments and 21 one-bedroom apartments, which will be just across the street behind us here.
Yes, sir, and they're planning on having a groundbreaking ceremony at 10 o'clock on April 28th.
Very good.
And the public is invited to the groundbreaking ceremony.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
All right, next is the consent agenda that I spoke of. Thank you. Do I have a motion? Troy,
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Terry Osborne,
Second.
motion by Troy Hill, second by Terry Osborne to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Thank you. Motion passes 8-0. Next to new business. Receive a presentation from USD 259 on the proposed upcoming bond election and associated citizen engagement. Good evening. Thank you guys for being here tonight.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor John. My name is Addie Lowell. I am the Chief Financial Officer for Wichita Public Schools. I am joined this evening by my wonderful colleague, Fabian Armendariz. I was here just a little over a year ago to talk about our February 2025 bond referendum. We had a different slew of projects. Unfortunately, that bond issue was not successful. We took a step back, and for more than a year, we've been collecting data on enrollment and capacity, and we've been doing a ton of engagement and listening to our community, our staff, our families. And so now, this month, we've presented some bond proposals to our Board of Education to eventually decide by the month of June, hopefully proceeding with an official bond referendum to go on the ballot on November 2026 in the general election. And so I'd love to go over briefly just some of the information on the proposals that would be helpful to share with the Park City community. We actually are proposing 3 different proposals to our Board of Education, and they're all different for different reasons. And a lot of the explanation for the differences in the proposals was around a lot of the community feedback that we got. And so I'd like to just briefly go over each one of those proposals with you. Our first proposal, the differences exist in our bond referendum question. We've got 2 questions on each proposal, and that was intentional. We heard a lot of feedback that we needed choices and the community needed to be able to see themselves to support us in a bond election. And so that's what we've developed. The first proposal is a proposal that supports facility needs. We know we have a huge portion of our community that wants to support Wichita Public Schools and knows we have significant facilities deficiencies that need to be addressed. And so that proposal is really designed to reflect the fact that we do have a growing challenges. I'm sure you all face the same challenges we do in upkeeping facilities. And so that proposal really is aimed at reflecting that voice in one of our proposals. Proposal 2 is our community feedback proposal. We've heard loud and clear that a majority of our community, almost 80% of our constituents, feel like they can support us with the tax-neutral option. And so that proposal number 2 offers still accomplishing a large number of our facility needs, but offering that tax-neutral option to our community, pushing a larger chunk of projects that still need to be completed to a question 2 option. Question 3 really represents that portion of our community that is feeling the property tax fatigue. We hear about it each year in our budget adoption process that assess valuations and the increases to assess valuations have put some hardship on some members of our community. And we want to name that in one of our proposals, and so we've done that on our third proposal. I want to make note, our council should have these. We'll also leave some sheets at the back of the room for anybody in attendance who would like to walk away with this one pager. Anybody who's interested in seeing more details about our bond issue proposals can go online to wpsbond.org, and all of this information, as well as the prices for each project, will be listed. There's FAQs as well, so you can choose your own adventure for how much detail you would like to know about each one of our bond projects. It's available at that website. Yep.
And so as we think about engagement, we will have it, as you can see, as part of all 3 proposals in question 1 is the rebuild of Chisholm Trail as a K-8. The intent of that particular project included, again, in question 1 in all 3 proposals, is to give Park City its own K-8 building. So we've been in conversation with some city officials to really discuss that particular portion of the project, but we're excited to include Park City as a part of this. Also, I wanted to remind the public and everybody that on April 22nd, we are going to be doing an engagement activity where we'll be talking more in depth about the proposals at Chisholm Trail Elementary. So for any community members that are interested here in Park City, they can attend that activity at Chisholm Trail. We also have engagement activities all over the city for anyone that is interested at different days throughout the next month, with the intent of us building a final proposal that will be presented to the Board of Education during the May 4th meeting. A few things to remember, again, as part of the engagement that we're doing online, we want community feedback, but also there's an opportunity for people to build their own bond, so for them to prioritize projects. Again, we want to hear as much of our community as possible, so that we're able to sort of build a package that is really more reflective of what our community wants. And so we've really been intentional about that particular piece. And so we want to encourage not only everyone here, but everybody in Park City to sort of engage, learn more about it. You'll have an opportunity right here in Park City to ask any questions that you may have of us on April 22nd.
Final call to action would encourage everyone here to visit that website. There is a survey to collect feedback on each one of these 3 proposals. We want to make sure Park City's feedback is reflected in the recommendation that we ultimately make to our Board of Education. So it will take less than a minute, and would love to encourage all of the citizens of Park City to make sure that they're engaging in that process. And we'll turn it over to the council for any questions.
Thank you. Council, any questions?
One thing that, in your proposal, you use the word rebuild on several of them. And I sometimes wonder if that's misconstrued as modernization of an existing building, but rebuild is to start scratch, right?
That's
And,
right. There's a couple of examples. Cessna is listed on our proposals as renovate, and that is how you refer to as modernize. So taking an existing structure and either repurposing it or renovating it. A rebuild means The building would sometimes cost us more to renovate. It has too many structural issues. It's not designed for a 21st century learning environment. I would encourage anyone who hasn't visited Chisholm Trail or been in a school recently, built in 1955, it was built as a high school. It is not conducive for elementary education in every single one of those classrooms. And so rebuild truly does mean we want a brand-new facility to support Park City students.
Well, especially when we're looking at Chisholm Trail, a brand-new building, I think, is what is going to get people's attention, not a modernization of a 1955 building. So I think that's very important.
And again, I think it's listed as a rebuild of Chisholm Trail, but the reality is really it's a brand-new K facility for this community.
Right.
Very good. Any other questions? I think we're in awe still. Something we've been trying for a long time to get, so we thank you guys for the work that you're doing. For the community is very exciting for us, so we're happy to participate in it, and we'll see you on the 22nd.
Thanks so much.
Thank you guys for being here. And I would say on the handout that you said, I'm sure there are people in the audience that would love to see that. I think that's why most of them are here. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next, item 2, discuss and consider resolution fixing a time and place for a hearing to determine whether the structure at 6700 North Longmont should be condemned and ordered repaired or demolished. Doug?
Mayor and council, this is a resolution that fixes a date and a time for a public hearing where any interested party, including the owners, occupants, or anyone else can show up to present any evidence in opposition to the initial finding that our building official has made that there are several deficiencies in this structure which make it dangerous and unsafe. So this sets the hearing for 7:30 p.m. on June 9th of this year, a regularly scheduled Tuesday city council meeting. I would suggest that the council adopts the resolution.
Thank you, Doug. Any questions or comments from council or a motion? Brandy?
Yes, I have one question, and I don't know if this is even the spot to ask this question or if we wait till a public hearing, but, so when I drove by that building, or this home, in the back, there's another structure that looked like had air conditioner with an extension cord running through it. So are people still living in that structure, in that area?
I'm sorry, I can't answer that, and I don't think that Bob or Gabe are here tonight. I can get that information to you, though, and I'll do that.
I'm just curious. I mean, like I said, it doesn't even look like a structure that's really like someone should be living in, but when I saw the air conditioner with the extension cord running, I just raised some questions.
Thank you, Brandy. Jim?
Unless anyone else has any other questions, I'd move to approve Resolution 1279-2026 to set a public hearing for June 9th, 2026 at 7:30 p.m.
Thank you. Brandy?
Second.
Very good. Thank you. I have a motion by Jim, seconded by Brandy. Seeing no further comment, we'll take the vote. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 8-0. Item 3, discuss and consider quotes from Cox Communications, Convergent, and Hop Sound for the new aquatics facility sound system.
Yes, sir. In anticipation of the new aquatics facility opening up by Memorial Day, attached are 3 quotes, one from Cox Communication, one from Convergent, and one for Hop Sound for phone, internet, security cameras, and sound for the facility. Cox Communication will provide both internet and phone at an increased cost on a monthly basis of $963.90. Convergent will install 4 cameras, 2 in the pool area and 2 in the parking lots, providing visibility and security, and that's at a cost of $40,703.94. And then Hop Sound will install 5 speakers in the pool area, 2 speakers in the bathhouse/restrooms, and the associated equipment at a cost of $18,479.99. It is budgeted. Cox would be paid out of the general fund, and the Convergent and Hops contracts would be paid from the capital projects fund. Staff recommends approval.
Okay. Question I have on the security system. Is this similar to what the city hall has now, like in terms of like cameras and stuff?
Yes, sir.
Trying to remember what the name of the
It
system.
is the same company that has provided the cameras for both City Hall as well as the new senior center, so that they are all the same type, talk together.
Thank you. Charles?
My question was, there's 2 cameras in the pool area. My first thought is that sufficient?
Yes, sir.
It sees the whole pool area with those 2 cameras?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And actually, one of the cameras in the parking lot is slated to be pointed towards the north, to where it too would provide visibility into the splash pad area as well as the southern portion of the swimming pool area.
Great.
Charles?
Okay, well, I'll make the motion, move to approve resolution. Wait a minute, I'm on the wrong one. Move to approve an increase in the Cox Communication monthly charges to $963 to be paid from the general fund, and an agreement with
Convergent.
Convergent to $40,703, and an agreement with Hop Sound for $18,479 to be paid from the capital projects fund.
Thank you. John Wells?
I second.
Any further questions or discussion on this item? Okay. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 8-0. Item 4, discuss and consider aquatic center hours of operation and fees.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Once again, we want to look at the hours of operation and fees, and when staff was putting this together, this list was put together by doing some research with area communities and then what would work best for our community as well. The suggestion in recommendations are the season would run from May 23rd through August 1st. The hours of operation would be Monday through Saturday, noon to 6 p.m., Sunday, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Daily passes would be $4 for residents and $5 for non-residents. Individual season tickets would be $120 for residents and $150 for non-residents. Family season tickets would be $180 for residents and $210 for non-residents. Half price on season tickets after July the 4th. Swim lessons will be offered twice daily for 2 sessions. Session 1 would be June 8th through the 18th, 10 a.m. to 10:45 a.m., and then once again at 11 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. Session 2 would be July 6th through the 16th, 10 a.m. to 10:45 a.m., and once again 11 to 11:45 a.m. Pool rental would be $250 for 2 hours for up to 50 people. The fiscal impact, this is unbudgeted. Projections from Water's Edge, the lead consultant for the new facility, estimates that revenues would be $75,000 to $80,000 annually, and staff recommends approval. Ready to answer any questions that you have.
Charles?
I think by looking at your times and stuff, you definitely did a lot of research. I looked at a bunch of different pools myself, and that's basically right in the ballpark of what most of the pools will run. I did come across some of them that do water walking. I don't know if that would work in our wave, not wave pool, but our pool that has a current, lap swimming times and things like that. Is there any possibility that there be other things like that added in the future?
I think there are a lot of possibilities that we would be looking at. Our new recreation director would be working with us to establish some of those things.
Okay, and then the season ticket, and then another thing that I found, several of them have a 10-day punch pass that they have. If somebody's going to be in town for a couple of weeks, that they can buy just a pass for 10 punches. That's another possible way to earn some, get some money off of visitors. And I think you're right on the mark. That's all I've got on it.
Thank you. Troy?
Everything looks really good to me. I'm just excited for this. My wife has been hounding me on family session or season tickets since this started, so now I know her price and I can tell her what I need to pay. And the swimming lesson's awesome. I'm glad we're offering it. And if nobody has any questions, I would move to,
Before you do that,
yes.
do we want to talk further on the punch pass?
About the what?
The punch pass, what was your idea?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, I'm trying to help you here.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's worth considering.
What do you think, like, if we did a 10-day pass or something like that, you want to do it like a daily pass is $4, so if you
Yes,
did,
sir.
say, a 10-day one, like $250 a day?
Yes,
So
sir, we could do that.
$25 for a 10-day punch pass? That was a great idea, Charles,
Well, thank you.
and a price, good job. Does that sound good? $25,
Absolutely.
and do we need to do a different price for non-resident? That would be, all be non-resident.
Typically would be non-resident.
They're going to
I
be a
suppose.
non-resident because
Probably
they're
would
in
be,
town for
yeah.
10 days.
Okay,
I
so
would
then
think.
do we need to base that price off, I did that off of the resident price, I discounted that.
Yeah, I'd
Be
base
thir-
it off the non-resident.
There's a dollar difference on a daily basis between resident and non-resident. There may still be Park City folks that just sit there and say, okay, I'll do it for the next 10 days and see and make certain that there's actually getting utility out of it. So we could do $2.50 for 10 days for a resident and $3.50 for non-resident for 10 days.
I like that.
So is the concept 10 days worth of use or 10 punches?
10 punches.
10 punches.
Okay.
A punch a day, right?
Yeah, so if someone maybe can't afford a season pass.
Yeah.
Good? All right, go ahead with that motion.
I move to approve the proposed hours and operations and fees for the Park City Aquatic Center.
In addition to the
In
10-day
ad-
punch pass as described.
Yeah, with the modifications.
Thank you, Troy. Let's see here, Linda,
I had a question on the closing date, actually.
second for discussion.
Yes.
Thank you.
August 1st, I know it doesn't seem early, but it seems really early. Is that subject to change every year, like, based on when kids go back to school? I know it's hard to staff it, like, during the week. Is there options to have weekends open until, like, Labor Day or something?
I think that would be something to look at, but I would say the staffing is always an issue because we have kids that are going to go back, especially those college kids go
Yeah.
back. And it's going to look at what our staffing looks like, which I would say Sean and I are doing interviews for guards, and that's going very well right now. I'm really excited about that. But it looks like, who are we hiring? And if they all go back, we have no staff then, so.
Could you hire some not college guards so we get that last
We,
month?
we would hire anybody that is qualified and excited
can
to work
apply
at our
that.
pool, which it is exciting, but what historically, and it may be different, but what I have found, and I know other people who are hiring for pools, that's the base of who we get hired in and trained, and once they're hired in and trained, they leave. We're not going to be able to start all over again.
Okay, it just seems like it's the hottest time of the year, and we close it right down, so.
Sure.
And that's what, like, Worlds of Fun and those kinds of
And,
places do,
and I
weekend
would
hours.
say if there's an interest in that, when we get our staffing put together, I'm just speaking from the hip here, when we get our staffing put together, if what we see is that we have people that can stay longer into that season and there's a desire for that, I would be very happy to come back to council and say, hey, we have the staffing, we would like to keep the pool open for a longer period of time. I think it would be a fabulous idea if we would be able to do that.
Yeah, I think as long as we're open to it, that's fine. Okay,
I know a lot of communities do the dog in the
the
pool
dog day,
thing at the
yeah, to
end.
close it down. but-
That's usually the very last day that the pool would be open, absolutely, yes.
Okay. All right, I got a motion by Troy, second by Linda to approve as presented with the modifications. Randy, I'm sorry.
So I want to go back to the punch pass real fast. So the question was asked, is that per visit or per punch? And it was answered per punch. So if you have someone who has 3 kids, I buy a $10 punch pass. So can I have one punch pass and use it 3 different punches for those 3 kids to enter? Or is that per person? I just know that could get confusing to some people. So I just want to,
If you have, it's 10 entrances into the pool.
okay, so if I'm a mom, I have 3 kids, I buy a punch pass, and I
Yes.
send my 3 kids there
3
twice, then they can use it, that's 6 punches and.
That's
and-
correct.
Okay, I just want to
That's
make sure
correct.
that's clear.
4th time 2 kids don't get in.
Right,
Exactly.
okay. I just want to make sure that that's clear, and it's
Yes, ma'am.
not per individual using that punch pass.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, Brandy. Charlie?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask this too, on the pool rental, did we think about doing a resident, non-resident cost on that? And I assume it'll be from like 6 to 8 because it's 2 hours. Is there any other options or the only option is 2 hours up to 50 people?
I wouldn't assume that the hours would be the 6 to 8. I would think that if someone wants to have a pool party from 9 to whatever, I think that would be something that the director, again, would look at as far as like availability of the pool and availability of guards to staff that. So I think that would be very flexible. In regard to the question of the resident versus non-resident, we could look at doing that. In addition, if you're going to have one of those parties, you're going to have people that are going to be Park City residents and not Park City residents. So
Sure.
that would be up to your desire.
The determining factor in calculating that was up to 50 people, because just renting it for 2 hours and say 100 people show up, you're going to need more lifeguards than you're going to need just for 2 hours with 50 people or 25 people. So again, when we did this, we looked at Newton, Derby. Derby didn't really apply because it's Rapid Rock Rapids, whatever, but looked at Goddard, Valley Center, Bel Air, Mays, kind of went consistent with what everybody else in the area was charging for rentals.
So if a party was gonna have up to 100, it would be $500 for the 2 hours, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think, I'm good with that.
Or you could also extend the hours, say you want to do a 4-hour rental. It's double.
Exactly. It's in 2-hour blocks, but yes, sir, you could extend it up to 4 hours if
Great.
needed.
I'm good with that. Thank you.
Terry?
I know, pool facilities are normally the younger crowd, but us seniors like to enjoy pool. Is there a senior pricing availability?
We did not consider that, sir. We can, though.
Just a thought.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Linda?
Okay, I'm sorry, one last thing. Are we determining what a family pass is? Just a household pass? We're not saying everybody that resides there and we're checking addresses? Are we like, how are they determining what a family or household pass is? As he said, senior citizens, it made me think of my mom, sorry, mother, but if she's taking the grandkids, like, is she not at, whose house is she in? Or is she getting her own individual, or how's that coming down?
It would be in the household. It would be the mom, well,
And
we
they're
have a
just
lot
signing
of
that up.
non-traditional families, but who's in the household?
But they're
Absolutely.
signing that up at the time of purchasing the
Yes.
pass? Okay.
Yes. And then on the senior pass, is that something that the council would like for us to put into the pricing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it makes sense, like, just as I think of my mom taking grandkids who's not gonna ever go otherwise on her own, but has to be there with them.
I'd say 25% off, like the daily of each one of them. Does that sound fair? So, $3. Just 25% off the price you already have set.
Yeah.
Anybody oppose that or want something different?
Sounds good.
Okay, is that okay on the motion in the second?
Yes.
Yes,
Troy and Linda, you're both good with that?
yes.
All right. Again, motion by Troy, seconded by Linda. approve as presented with modifications, and then the final was 25% off for senior passes. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, aye. Motion passes 8-0.
Thank you, and this is a very exciting time for our community. Thank
It
you.
is. And I can remember the last years of the last pool, it was dreaded when we had to hire lifeguards, so it's exciting to hear that that's going wonderfully.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, next, item 5, discuss and consider approval of land transfer.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As staff has been working through Phase 3 of the stormwater drainage improvements, a couple of projects are being designed to alleviate drainage issues in the area of Primrose Circle and our Primrose Lift Station. One of the projects proposes to regrade the ditch that runs behind the homes and parallel to the interstate, improving capacity and flow. Additionally, heavy rains often inundate the lift station to the point of near failure due to the flooding of land in the area. In order to move the water to its ultimate destination, an existing ditch on Junk Pro's private property located at 1100 East 45th Street will be needed and utilized. Mike Davis, the property owner, was advised by his engineer to regrade and widen the ditch on his property as an extension of our project in order to protect his property from the water flow. In doing so, this will reduce the amount of usable land intended for development. Staff, engineers, and the property owner researched solutions, and staff believes the best solution is to transfer the 1.48 acre portion of unusable Primrose Park land to the property owner in exchange for the drainage improvements necessary to his property. The transfer would be contingent upon the property owner making the improvements within a certain period of time, and if those improvements have not been completed within that period of time, the property will revert back to the city. Although this is designated as a park, the proposed land is currently zoned industrial, making this request consistent with the city's comprehensive plan. The land is separated from the park playground improvements by a large area of trees, and there are no plans to clear or improve the proposed land. And lastly, the city has been unable to maintain or mow the property due to access issues, and it has been serving mainly as state right-of-way. Staff is recommending that you approve and authorize the mayor to execute a transfer of the city-owned land, and I stand for any questions you may have.
We have a better aerial representation of this. I'm not really tracking, I know where Primrose Park is, but
Okay, so there is an exhibit that was provided in your packet that shows the 1.48 acres. It is the shaded area on that exhibit. I provided the aerial, which you see on your screen now, mostly to show the thickly forested area that is blocking off that parcel from the rest of the park. So that may not be the best representation to show you what we're looking to deed over, but just was to give you a picture of what the land geography looked like.
So the 1.48 acres is just to the north of Junk Pro's
That's
property
correct.
there?
It is to the north of Junk Pros.
Right along 135.
Correct.
Gotcha.
and the actual park facility is further to the west.
That's correct.
It won't necessarily affect.
This will not affect the improved park area that we have.
Thank you. Council, any questions on that? Jim?
I don't have any questions, so I'd move to approve and authorize the mayor to execute the transfer of the city-owned land.
Thank you. John?
I second.
Linda?
I was in for second, sir.
Brandy?
I guess I do have one question. What's the time frame that we're gonna give the property owner to make these improvements?
So we've been discussing 4 to 6 months in order for it to align properly with our preferred timeline on the Primrose drainage projects. We don't have to move that quickly. However, the property owner has to move that quickly based on the type of funding he has in place for the improvements on this property. And so he has a much stricter deadline to get those improvements done in order to not lose funding that he secured for the overall project.
Okay. Thank you.
And in the agreement that I'll be signing, does it have that deadline for them to complete the project?
It will include that, yes, along with the revert clause.
Thank you. Fantastic. Any further discussion from council? Okay. Motion by Jim, seconded by John. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 8-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6, discuss and consider approval of design and construction engineering contracts for paving, sanitary sewer, water, storm drainage for Briar Brook Second Edition.
Briar Brook Second Edition is located east of Broadway and north of 85th Street. The petitions for paving, sanitary sewer, and water improvements were approved on May 13th of 2025 by the council, subject to receiving the required letter of credit. Attached are the associated contracts from the engineer, K.E. Miller, for the design and construction engineering. The cost outlined are for paving, $160,000, for the sanitary sewer design, $70,000, and for water, $62,000. This is authorized and funded via temporary financing, followed by long-term general obligation bonds. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Sean. Have a motion? Brandy?
I move to approve and authorize the mayor to finalize and execute contracts with K.E. Miller Engineering, PA, in the amount not to exceed $292,000 to be paid out of the Capital Projects Fund.
Okay, Charles?
I will second that.
Okay. Seeing no further discussion, motion by Brandy, second by Charles to approve. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 8-0. Next, we have council comments. Charlie?
The pool looks good. The build, they're doing quite well. I'm excited for it to get started, to open. That's all I got.
John Wells?
To thank everybody on the Community Relations Board for hosting the Easter egg hunt. It seemed to go over quite well this year and was a really, really great turnout, and the kids seemed to have a lot of fun. So thank you all.
Agree. Linda?
I have nothing today.
Charles?
Today, we found out in Wemco that May is bicycle, National Bicycle Month, and they're encouraging all of the surrounding areas to also make the same declaration in May. Another thing that they handed out to us that I thought was very interesting was it's a flow chart of commuters in our community, and they have each one of the cities, and they show how many people live outside but work inside the city, how many people live and work inside the city, and then how many people live in the city but work outside the city. And each one of them, I'll read you what Park City showed to be live and work inside the city is 176 people. live outside but come to the city to work is 4,283 people. Live in Park City but work outside is 4,095 people. And each one of the communities has about these same numbers, and it was terribly interesting to me in the fact that now you know why we have so much traffic, because everybody's going this way and then they're going that way. Anyway, that was what I learned today.
Thank you. Jim?
I find this Wichita School District proposal to be very interesting. I mean, what an interesting thing for our community. All three of these proposals are talking about a brand-new K-8 school complex in Park City. And they're coming to us early with different options. I'm really going to encourage everybody to go give their feedback on this. Tell them what you want, tell them what you like, tell them what you don't like. So for sake of reiterating this for everybody watching, go to WPSbond.org and check this out. I think they really want to hear your feedback, and this, on the surface, seems like a wonderful thing for Park City and our kids. That's all I have.
Thank you. Brandy?
I guess this will be dual hats for just a second, but the tag office is now open 5 days a week in Park City. So that's exciting.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic.
That's it.
It's not appointment only, or is it?
It is appointment only. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Troy?
I'm super excited for the school board stuff too. It doesn't really affect me so much, just because I live in Valley Center School District, but I think it's cool to have something like that here in Park City. It'd be good for the city and the students here as well. I do want to mention that today is my wife's birthday, so happy birthday. I spent all day here for the last 2 hours. Got in
Last
trouble
all
for it.
evening.
That's all I got.
Terry?
Yeah, I can't say the school bond any better than what Jim did, so I echo his thoughts, but, you know, as the pool, or the aquatic center, because it's more than a pool. As the aquatic center goes up, I mean, anytime you have construction, you start seeing vertical, that's when excitement starts to get around. And so, driving by the other day, seeing the slides and seeing the building going up is hopefully within the community is starting to build that excitement. And me personally, I'm excited to see the fitness court go in. I've got some other personal reasons for seeing that come into play, and I've got some guys that I work out with on a daily basis that's excited to see that. So I'll be looking forward to Friday, taking a look.
Very good. Well, the school situation is very exciting for us. It's something we've worked on for many years. Well before any of us were on the council, we were trying to get the attention of USD 259 for Wichita schools, and we could never get that happen. So it's very exciting that Park City is on the map in growth. The growth patterns here have obviously attracted a lot of attention from others, but now even schools. So to see something that of this magnitude, that is an $80 million project for a K-8 school right here in Park City, is super exciting. And I could say that's probably just going to stimulate the growth that we're already experiencing. So very exciting. Then when it comes to the aquatics park, the pool facility, you know, I think we bounced around a little bit on where we were going to put that thing, finally decided on being on the interstate where we could kind of capture that interstate frontage. And man, as I see that thing go vertical, man, that just really resonates with me, that what a great decision that was to put that right there, because all the people I hear say, where is Park City? And they drive by, and where is Park City? And now you got water towers that are, you know, recently branded, and then all of the growth with the Gillies, the arena, and now the pool facility, where so many years people would say that Park City had nothing to do for kids, and you can't miss it. So very exciting, excited to see that happen. So would entertain a non-debatable motion to adjourn. Charles.
Well, I had one more thing I wanted to add, of course. The Chisholm Trail, excuse me, the Chisholm School meeting is going to be April 22nd, 5 to 7. School board meeting, May 4th, 6 PM. And I think anybody here or even there out in the audience, show up for those meetings because they need the support. And then I'll.
Yes, let me tag on to what you're saying before we do that. The last bond issue that did not pass in Wichita lost by right around 300 votes. And we were not on that bond issue, so now we're elevated on each one of them. So our project is, if the bond issue passes, then we're in good shape. So thank you. Go ahead.
Were you looking for a second now, or?
No, I need a motion first.
You need a motion to adjourn? You've got a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. And second, Terry.
Second.
Okay, motion by Charles, seconded by Terry to adjourn. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 8-0. We're adjourned.